What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Sun Belt Syndicate, what we are deeming the Bash Brothers episode. We'll get into that in just a second. First of all, thank you to our sponsor, W Energy, down below. Enter SB Syndicate at checkout. Get you a little tub of dub and get you some clean energy. No sugar, no crash. Still got the caffeine that you want and you need to make it through your day. Trying to use it to kick the soda habit, as I always say, and it's working pretty well. So definitely check them out. As always, sponsored and brought to you by College Football Dogs, as you can see behind me, part of Dog TV, the podcast network. And on the show tonight, we've got two really great guests for you. Both of these guys play for App State. Surprise. Both are transfers to the App program. Austin came in from ECU, Banks from Ole Miss. In 2022, Austin was busy being named the Sun Belt Freshman of the Year, while Banks was over at Ole Miss, where they would end the season as a national champions. Austin leads the App State team and the conference in hits with 74, while Banks leads the Apps, has the all-time home run record and also leads the conference as well with 21 homers on the year. Welcome to the show, Banks, Tolley, and welcome back to the show, Austin St. Laurent.
What's up? Nice to have you.
What's going on, fellas?
Yeah, great to have you guys. I think I felt like I did a little disservice to Banks on the thumbnail for the YouTube, but because I didn't really show his face, but he was just letting it rip at the home plate with probably what ended up being a home run, as we know now. So I was like, I think I like this shot here, and we got Austin. Maybe we don't jump into it right away. Maybe we do. I got that little panda in there because we heard about that this weekend on the broadcast. So you want to start us off talking about the panda there?
Not only the panda, but my best friend.
There you go.
So the whole panda thing is I'm probably the biggest Panda Express fan of all time. And we were in the airport in Charlotte, and I'm going to go get my Panda Express at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I roll up to – they haven't even opened the gates. They open the gates, and what's right in front of me is a bunch of little pandas. So I asked the lady, I was like, hey, are these for sale? And she said, yeah, I'll give you 50% off if you buy one. So I said, all right, bought it. And then since then, my hitting's gone up, and each time something cool happens – he gets a new accessory.
Austin, does the panda have a name at this point?
Yeah, so Colin actually said that he needed to toughen up a little bit. So he threw him against the wall a couple times, and he lost one of his eyes. So he is officially named One-Eyed Willie.
Nice. Banks, what do you think of this panda?
Me personally, I can't eat Panda Express because I'm allergic to shellfish, so it's kind of awkward. But
That makes sense.
yeah, I mean the panda gets a clear view of the game. He probably has the best seat in the house, and Saint confirmed hits significantly better while the panda's watching. So the works are worse.
Very nice. We got even Austin will probably remember this. We've got our number one fan joining the show. Artie Cat says, hello, Dominic, Seth, and Marv. Hope you're doing well. Yes, we are doing well, sir. Thankfully. Hopefully you are as well. I'm not sure how close you are to that flooding that was happening down there in Texas, but you can let us know that, you're good and your home's good down there, because I know some of those areas were pretty greatly affected. Someone at my work couldn't even fly to Houston last week to go see his son because his flight got canceled because of the craziness down there. So hopefully he's out of that. But you guys might have seen him in the stands when you were down there in San Marcos, as he's a Texas State, I believe, alumni, certainly a fan at the very least. But he's got he liked the Phoenix Coyotes in hockey. So I don't really know. He's got a few different things for us to follow along and figure out where he's at. But yeah, we love having Artie back, and he's always coming to the show asking us questions and commenting along the way as well. We invite anybody else who's watching across any platform, as I check Instagram, since their comments don't show up live on my feed here. But if you've got questions, comments you want to share with these guys or us while we're running through the show, go ahead and send them in, and we'll put them up on screen for these guys. And otherwise, we'll get right into it, fellas. We'll let you start with giving us a hard time as well, you can give me a hard time. I do have information
against us.
Yeah, well, I'm superstitious, as I'm sure you guys are probably to some extent as athletes. So last week, or 2 weeks ago, I guess now, I had taken Georgia State, unfortunately, to beat you 2-1. It was just kind of a toss-up. I got a lot of ground to make up. I knew these guys were going to go with that, but I had to do something, right? Well, this week, really thought you guys could win, but I had picked you to lose 2-1 the week before, so I picked you to lose 2-1 again, thinking, hey, the last time I did this, they swept. So let's do it again. And it didn't – I mean, it worked out in one sense. It didn't work out for me, but it worked out because I wanted that to happen anyway. So there's my explanation. Take it or leave it.
Sounds like a mega excuse.
At this point, I hope he keeps doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, choose ODU this weekend for us, please.
Yeah. 3-0 ODU.
Do you guys know going into that that's their last set of home games in that stadium, or were you unaware of that?
No idea.
Yeah, I had no clue.
Yeah, their new ballpark should be ready to go next year. So you guys can close it out with a sweep. So you just give them a little parting gift there when you go up there this weekend. Well, it's interesting. I don't know. I mean, do you guys kind of know going in, do they consider that like a hitter's park or not? I mean, I know that they were the conference leader as far as home runs just as soon as last year. But obviously you guys are up there leading the way this year. I guess they expect some fireworks from what I've seen. I don't know if you guys are aware of the Monarchist podcast. Those are the guys that kind of cover ODU sports. They think there could be some high-scoring games up there this weekend. Are you looking that way too?
Yeah, I was talking to CJ today about it, and I don't know if you were at ECU when y'all went there. Where are you saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it flies like crazy. So.
Yeah, I mean, everybody that I've talked to that plays there says it's a launch pad. So
I feel like almost everywhere we play in the Sun Belt's kind of a launch pad, except for like Georgia State for some reason. Apparently, it's always a launch pad, and it was killing everything when we went up.
Yeah. But
other than that, I feel like everywhere is offensive.
It was probably the atmosphere at Georgia State that was killing them.
Yeah, that's real.
Is it as bad as people say? I mean, we've got players on tonight. Let's hear, like, you don't have to rip it, or you can. That's up to you. But we've heard fans all just disparage it and crap on it all season long. But what is it like playing there in that actual stadium?
You want to say? You got it.
Yeah, I mean, the playing surface, like the dirt, is fine. But, like, if I never had to go back there and play again, I wouldn't be upset.
Well, apparently they're going to build a new stadium as well.
I hope so.
Yeah. I don't know how long it's going to take. They've been talking about it for quite some time. But apparently, Dom, you said they announced it as official. They've got renderings, the whole nine.
Yeah. Technically, they've had renderings for years. And, it's one of those things. I mean, it's just like stuff with app, too, right? There's stuff's on the books. It's expected, it's planned, but it gets pushed back a year or two every now and then kind of thing. So it's still not, until they put a shovel in the dirt, I'm guessing, you still don't consider it official. But, the athletic department has put out the article that it is coming. So at this point, they now believe it to be real. Take that for what it's worth.
Speaking of atmospheres at stadiums, and also I think we asked you this on the first podcast, and just kind of want to get Banks's input, and maybe yours has changed. Outside of Boone, best away atmosphere that you played at in the Sun Belt?
Oh, man. Texas State was pretty electric. Those fans were, on our tails. I remember I was walking up in the Friday night game. We lost 3-2. I ended up hitting a homer in this and bad, but whenever I was walking up, I kind of look at the light pole, and I looked up and I was like, oh my gosh, like these guys really hate me. That's what it felt like. And to be honest with you, I love that. And I was walking up and all these people were screaming at me. Like there was 2 outs, bottom of the ninth, like they were ready to close it out. And yeah, I just remember that super vividly. And it felt really good there. It was like during that cold period of time at App State, but it was really warm in Texas. And Yeah, I remember those guys were, on my tail. And JMU's a close second. They had some really, really funny chirps. They had a few guys sitting over there that were on Coach Jay's tail. And I don't think you liked it, but I always think this stuff's funny. I mean, the more creative, the better, to be honest with you.
Hey, Banks, what about in general, going all the way back to Ole Miss? What would your best atmosphere be collectively?
Mississippi State,
Yeah,
100%. I mean, that place is an absolute madhouse. It's like, yeah, it's outrageous. You feel like the fans are in your back pocket, and I mean, they let you know. But yeah, I mean, that place is really cool. But yeah.
You want to expand on Omaha a little bit? What was that like?
Oh yeah,
That place was, oh my goodness. It was like whenever we went down there, it was like the first time in a long time that Ole Miss has gone, or it'd been like 2015 or something, since they hadn't won an Natty before. So we go down there and it seems like the whole freaking city is there. Like it felt like Oxford except in Omaha, Nebraska. So yeah, it was crazy. I mean, we went out after that, and I mean, I was having to like put drinks away because everybody was wanting to give me a drink, and I mean, it was just, yeah, it was crazy. It was absolutely insane. Really loud, really supportive. It was an awesome experience.
That's cool.
nice. You're going to replicate that this year, right?
That's the plan. Yeah,
I like it.
He didn't stutter at all.
Nope.
Didn't
No,
hesitate.
he was ready. And
Yeah,
also like, yeah,
Austin's
I'm
had the
riding.
same attitude all year too. You got to admire that.
Yeah,
From day one.
nope.
It's because we're
Absolutely.
winners.
There you go.
real.
Oh no, I kind
Yeah.
of like the football team more, but it is what it is.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
We've already heard about the football team beef.
Yeah. Even though there is an awesome football helmet celebration, as we've also covered, and we have, the main component is that what we remember from that conversation, Austin? That was you, right? You spearheaded that.
yeah, it was like 4 of us, but and then we had our equipment guy. But I mean, if I'm not mistaken, every handoff, none of us have gotten tackled. So therefore, our stats are better than our football team.
It's real.
100%. Oh man, yeah. Well, let's move on from this graphic. I do want to congratulate the other 2 guys. 2 of 3 series correct, and Austin, as you know, and Banks, you can probably see here, you get 0 credit even if you get the winning team correct. You have to get the games right too. So we're real tough graders here, and I am way behind. I'm also 3 games behind because we had a guest picker at one point. In a good way, we're going to scrap the whole table this week and let our kids all pick the game. So we're actually going to have 4 guest pickers. They'll probably do way better than the 3 of us, and it'll be a better look all the way around. So we'll definitely be sharing that on socials, before Friday there.
Austin, that's how far we've come. We've got guest pickers now.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Hey, Dom,
Viewers doubled.
I think you're mathematically eliminated from playoff contention at this point. You can just go ahead and plan your vacation.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you. It's pretty ugly. Yeah. Tuesday scores, guys. And how much do you guys watch other teams and what they're doing through midweeks? Obviously, when you have a midweek, it's harder to do that. But in a situation like this week where you don't have one, are you scoreboard watching? Do you just kind of check it out the next day and just kind of see what's occurred, or how's that usually go for you?
I usually watch. I watch the ECU Duke game, and I watch. There's another kind of important game. What was it? This past Tuesday. I don't know. I watched 2 games last night.
Who won that game, Banks?
What,
ECU.
the ECU Duke game?
Duke.
Yeah.
Duke.
Did they?
Hey, while we're talking about Duke, and we're going to pick on stadiums for a second, so Dominic and I went to y'all's game in Durham. Obviously, the game didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, but previous years we had gone to the
I think
game.
Duke was still scoring.
Yeah,
Right now.
previous years we had gone to the game and it had been at the Durham Bulls Stadium, which is a AAA, very nice stadium. I was absolutely shocked at how the playing surface looked fine, but in the stands, that is a crappy stadium. That is for a team that's as good as them and a private school that has the kind of money they have. That was a dump. I mean, I've literally been to middle school parks better than that.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. They have like this really, really official social media too. Like their social media is unbelievable. And I just don't think I don't think that this like the fans really pull up to their games that much for some reason. And I don't know why. I don't know if they haven't been good long enough or anything. But yeah, I mean, I would have thought that there would have been more, at least seating. You know, the playing surface was great, but the seating I thought was kind of lackluster for their, I guess, prowess.
From someone who was sitting in the stands, I can tell you that it was just bad. I mean, no matter where you sat, you were going to have a dead spot on the field somewhere, and it was just damp and dingy. There's no concession stands. The bathrooms are porta potties. It was just, I don't know, not what I was expecting from, like I said, a private school with that kind of money. And they've been pretty decent since, like, I don't know, whenever Pollard went there. I mean, he turned the program around in, like, 16 maybe? But it was disappointing.
Yeah, and I felt like more people came to the games while they were in Durham at the Bulls Stadium.
Really?
Yeah. I'd say that's for sure true.
I think we talked off air about this. Can that stadium host a regional?
Yeah, so that one's in contention for hosting.
They
wouldn't move it to the Bulls Park?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Bulls Park. No, they wouldn't be able to host there.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to host.
So it's got to be at Duke?
It would have to be at the Bulls Stadium.
Oh, it would have to be at the Bulls Stadium.
Yeah.
What are the parameters that won't allow them to host at that stadium just because it's a dump?
I think it's
seating, right?
Yeah, you have to be able to hold enough people.
Okay.
Gotcha. Well, I'm all for them hosting a regional, if nothing more than I can almost throw a baseball and hit the dang stadium. Not really.
Well,
I'm like 15 minutes away, but that's really convenient for me to get to. And I mean, the likelihood
the Bulls aren't going to change their schedule just because of Duke.
Absolutely not.
So, I mean, if they're at home, then somebody's SOL.
Yeah, and if their schedules don't align, then that would go to the next person available to host.
Really?
That would suck.
Yeah, so you earn a 1 seed and you got to go be a 2 seed somewhere else because your stadium's not fit. That's that's nuts.
You know what they could do? They could. I doubt they'd do it because it's not in Durham at that point. It's in Cary, but USA Baseball Stadium is typically empty, and that's. I don't know if it's up to par either, to be honest, but I would assume that it could at least hold. It's definitely better than Duke's home ballpark.
That's a nice facility.
Put them as the 2 at Carolina.
Yeah.
That'd be something.
Yeah, that would be something. Oh, we got a comment here from Joe and Brenda Northam. Center field at Georgia State is only 385 versus 400 at other Sunbelt fields, so some of theirs would not be home runs on a 400-foot center field wall.
Yeah, it's short out there. I felt like I was like right backed up to the wall. But again, whenever we played there, I mean, the ball like wasn't flying. Like they hit a few balls in the last inning of Game 2. We won 6-5 that I thought were moonshots, and I caught them like at the warning tracker before. It was like crazy. The ball like wasn't carrying there.
Interesting. Is that ballpark like anywhere near their school, or is it kind of like out there somewhere? Because it feels like it's just farther away from the school than a lot of the other stuff that they've got.
Yeah, if you go find the closest bus lot and go behind it, that's where the field is.
Real.
No, like you pull in through a bus lot, and then their field is on the backside.
Oh wow, you're not even kidding. I thought you were trying to make like a joke.
No, they call them the bus lot boys.
Yeah, there's actually like 200 buses in the lot right next to the field.
So there's more buses in the lot than fans. That's funny.
Real.
Do they have to wait for the middle school to get out before they can play?
Yeah, no, they gotta wait for the YMCA daycare to let out.
That's funny.
Oh man! All right, so does anything really jump out at you guys? I mean, Coastal gets back on track with the win there. Troy is hosting Alabama in that game. They lose by 1
Did you see that crowd last night?
The crowd?
Did you see the crowd at the Troy game?
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
and,
game ended.
Yes, that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah, like TJ is one of my best friends. The guy who caught that ball in center. He said he caught Jackson whenever he threw him out.
The kid who got thrown out is one of my best friends too.
Really?
Oh, jeez. So, did you talk to him? Was there like a miscommunication? Was he told to go and the coach didn't know what the situation was, or just a total mix-up from what you guys know?
I haven't talked to him yet, but when we played them, there was a lot of times that they were just like flipping a coin, and they were super aggressive on the base path to begin with. So like there was times where we would double up guys against them too, and they just like I guess their coaches just flip a coin and tell them to go.
Yo, that's true. I didn't even think about that.
Because their third base coach, there was a time we doubled up a dude. I think you caught it. You or Hunt caught it in center, right center, and their coach was telling him to go, and he's at third base when the ball got caught.
Hey, that's how I coach my little league team too.
You teach them to run the catcher and everything, right, Seth?
Yeah, just run, keep running until I tell you to stop.
Hey,
Hey, Austin, thanks for showing up this year, by the way. Appreciate it. What a guy.
Hey, Seth's got the best team in the league, right?
Yeah.
I'm there in spirit.
Only one loss.
Their spirit.
Yeah, there you go. Artie says nothing at Georgia State is near campus. Its campus in a downtown high-rise. Its campus is a downtown high-rise, yeah. And did you see this? I don't know how many people saw this flash across their feed or whatever. They accidentally, the Georgia State admissions office accidentally sent acceptance letters to 1,500 people that were never supposed to get them.
Oh, no.
Nice.
How does that happen? I don't know. But 1,500, if it's like 100, yeah, whatever. Maybe you just say, come on in, but 1,500. So
What's their acceptance rate? Is it low?
I think it's high. I think they're one of those like UNC Charlotte, like a commuter school where they accept a ton of people because there's not that many people that actively live on campus, if I'm not mistaken. They're probably one of the largest Sunbelt schools we have, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was going to say, if it was a low acceptance rate, that would be pretty.
That'd be tough.
Yeah, I don't think, to be honest with you, I didn't click in to read the article. I just saw the headline, so I'm not sure if they like immediately fixed the problem or if they've got to explain this stuff to people or if they're just going to tell them to come on in or what. But big mess there. And you guys, put South Alabama in a losing way because then they go down to Alabama State, 12-2, which obviously run ruled there. So a little surprising that, I guess they really weren't competitive in those last two. But that first game was back and forth a little bit. And honestly, besides that hot hitting streak they had where they got 3 in a row, that game may be differently as well. But are you surprised that they couldn't rebound against a team like Alabama State?
I would say they had a little bit of trouble at the plate pretty much all weekend. They had some good arms, but, I mean, it felt like they were taking some non-convicted swings, I guess. I didn't ever really feel like I needed to turn my back when I was in the outfield. So you got anything?
Yeah, I mean, also to add to it, I thought our pitching staff threw phenomenal too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, like Tolley said, I think probably once or twice that I can remember where like I had a ball hit really well to me at short. And but other than that, I feel like Tolley said, they were almost in between pitches and like I would assume guessing on what was coming.
Makes sense then. Okay.
Because
See, that's the kind of stuff
on Sunday they got 2 hits all day.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you guys hammered them home on that. I mean, neither game was really in question for very long, which was I literally was holding out hope at 1.2. I think it was the 5th inning on Sunday. Was it the 5th inning? You almost had them run ruled by then.
Yeah,
the 10-run thing, right? So
yeah.
I'm about to go outside for a run, and I'm like, I'll just wait for the finish, and then it went into the 6th, and I'm like, I think they got it. I'm gonna go out here and do this run.
Coastal snaps a losing streak, right?
Say that again.
Coastal snaps a losing streak last night, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were 8 in a row, I think.
Yeah.
8 game skid, yeah.
8 straight.
Yeah. 8 in a row, and we're going to get to in just a minute. Obviously, we've got 3 games on the docket tonight. So we've got the Battle of the Bell, apparently is what the Ohio versus Marshall matchup is considered. That's across all sports. I guess they call it the Battle of the Bell. Georgia Southern versus Jacksonville, that's a real regional matchup there. I don't know. You guys know much about Jacksonville's program? Are they doing pretty well this year? I didn't honestly look at their record.
They beat Florida earlier this year, if I'm not mistaken.
I have no
was
idea
it them that beat?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Well, that game's going final.
Okay.
13-2 Georgia Southern in 7.
Wow. All right. So taken care of. Did you check on those other scores while I got it up?
Let me see.
I'll give you a second because we've got Stephen F. Austin for those looking at the screen and not sure what school that is. Stephen F. Austin down there in Texas. You can tell that by the logo, obviously. But they went on the road to play ULM. Did you guys play at ULM?
We don't play
at all.
Yeah, missing this year.
You didn't play them in the past or anything?
Yeah, we played him I played him in the past.
What's that field like? I don't really know much. I really, honestly, as much as it's bad to say, ULM's near the bottom of everything, it feels like in sports. So I rarely check them out unless they're playing at somebody else's stadium. What's the ULM baseball stadium like?
Caleb, did we play at ULM our first year? Yeah, it's turf. But, I mean, nothing really crazy about ULM. I mean, it's pretty much a pretty nice place to begin with. Like the surrounding area is not bad either. But
we've always been told the football field, playing football there is like playing baseball at Georgia State. It's just gloomy. Nobody's there.
Oh, was that the stadium where it was like all like
you don't want to be there?
Yeah.
One of those things.
Well, they're winning right now. They're up 6-8 in the bottom of the sixth.
I think that they're a better program than Stephen F. Austin.
Okay. And I'm trying to find a score on the Marshall, Ohio game.
Okay. No problem. You can just give us that when you find it. But, yeah, I mean, this is the good thing. As bad as a team may look in the Sun Belt, they can go out and be pretty good out of conference because, and we've said this all year, we feel like this conference is underrated. And I feel like with the amount of people that care, and you've seen the crowds at other places, you've been to Texas State, you've been to, at least in the past, not this year, but been to Louisiana. Banks, you can really maybe specifically speak on the comparison between, obviously, the epicenter is the SEC, and we all know that. But where does this conference as a whole compare maybe to, I don't know, the Big 12 or the Big 10, where people think, they may not be like this, like some people think. They're right here, or Sunbelt may even be better positioned as far as attendance and interest in the league goes.
I mean, I know Southern Miss specifically is a top 10 attended school, so they get some crazy support over there. And in terms of like the baseball talent, I mean, it's neck and neck, man. Especially like when we're talking about the conferences, I guess. Maybe SEC step above, maybe ACC, but like Big 12, Sun Belt, I mean, if you were to go watch two teams without any jerseys on, would you really be able to tell? I don't know. But yeah, I think the Sun Belt gets a lot of baseball attention in terms of like support from the schools. I mean, I was really surprised by the turnout at Texas State. Southern Miss gets some crazy fans. JMU had a good turnout. ULL, that place is a madhouse from what I've heard. I've never played there personally, but Troy, I mean, all these places get like really good support, and I think it's because a lot of these programs have been good for a long time. App State, we're on the come up now. I mean, we're starting to turn some heads now, but a lot of these schools have some pretty rich history. So yeah, I think they have a good base of support.
Yeah, Tolley would absolutely lose his mind playing at Lafayette.
Yeah, that place is crazy.
Yeah, dude.
But
apparently, talking about not being able to hear yourself think, go there.
But apparently they feed you very well after the game.
Absolutely, 100%.
I've heard all about that.
Cajun Cooking Club. Shout out, Cajun Cooking Club.
We've actually asked every player that we've had on about the Cajun Cooking Club, and everyone has verified that it is very good. Even though the Troy boys said that they felt like they were intentionally feeding them spicy food so that they would have like the runs or run the next day.
I don't know what you expect going down there.
Yeah.
Troy soft.
It's called Cajun food. It's got a spice to it. It's got a kick to it.
All right, so Marshall is up 7-4 in the top of the ninth.
Okay. So we've got a good showing across the board in the Sun Belt so far tonight, as far as Wednesday is concerned. So that's good. So,
Don, before you jump into this, I want to ask when we asked Austin. So obviously transferred in from Ole Miss. Kind of what brought you to Boone? Kind of your journey to App State.
So I was actually, my girlfriend goes to Virginia Tech, right? So that's only 2.5 hours down the road. And I was looking over FaceTime this summer, and we were looking at all the schools like within the vicinity, right? I was like, look, App State, I mean, I don't know if y'all know this. I went to a soccer camp here when I was in high school, believe it or not. And I had been up here, and I was like, yeah, that place was beautiful. Like what if they actually come through and, like, talk to me? And just kind of talking, I guess. Just kind of talking, And I posted on Twitter. I posted my, like, stats and, like, my tools and stuff on Twitter when I was in the portal. And Coach Jay followed me, like, 30 minutes after the fact. Like, it was like that. And I sent a screenshot to my girlfriend. I was like, look, like, they followed me. And, yeah, I had seen the video of the field go viral. I mean, I knew it was a beautiful place. And talked to Coach Smith, and he convinced me. And I'm so happy I made that decision. I mean, I've loved every second up here.
That's awesome.
Nice. Yeah.
Are you here for 1 year, Banks?
Yes, just one. I'm an old guy, 24.
Austin, I know we kind of asked you that similar question, but one thing that maybe we didn't touch on is you were kind of in the state. Was there anything? I mean, let's be honest. Did you know App State even had a baseball program when you were younger? Like, because as you guys have spoken about, App State's more of a recent come up, especially with the stadium getting all the publicity, as Banks just said. But is it a program that you were ever really looking at, or was it kind of like they found you type of thing?
Yeah, like in middle school and, like, leading up into high school, like I couldn't have told you who Appalachian State was. And then luckily I found out about App State because one of my good friends, his older brother, played here. He was committed to NC State and then ended up decommitting and coming to App. And, like, I kind of kept up with it through there. And then after my first year, I got to come play summer ball up here. So that was we kind of found each other, I guess.
Austin, did App recruit you out of high school?
No. I committed at a really early time. So I guess I wasn't at the age they were looking for yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because it seems like the trend is to go older for baseball players. Is that? I mean, I guess, Austin, I think you were literally the one who said that to us, and that's probably how we learned it, was that they're kind of looking for some of these older guys in some of these situations.
The trend now is leading towards a lot of portal guys and a lot of grad transfers and just older transfers in general. Like, for me, I committed to ECU when I was 14, which is the dumbest move you can do. So I don't recommend doing that.
But it literally means nothing, though, right? I mean, it means something to you.
Technically, it just means that no schools are going to recruit you, and then you sign your letter of intent your senior year.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, because I've always thought that was funny when they, with that baby Gronk kid, getting all kinds of 30 offers, and he's in middle school still, or a freshman in high school at the earliest. Like, all right, man, you don't even know what this kid could flame out and just not be interested in the sport anymore. It doesn't matter whether it's football or baseball, but.
And, like, that was the thing that happened to me too. Like, I was probably like 155, 160 pounds soaking wet in high school. And then my senior year, I put on like 60 pounds and I walked into ECU at 230. And they're like, who are you? They were like, you are not a shortstop and you are not what we recruited. So.
Yeah, but they didn't look at the thighs, though. You got to point to those things, right? And be like, check these things out. Look at this.
They were probably looking at the keg I had above my belt.
Guys, he was getting up there.
Yeah, no, he was a hefty fella.
That's what ECU will do to you, right?
Before that, but
it was before that. That's true. Yeah.
You would be correct.
You were getting into the party school before the party school.
No partying. A lot of food in COVID.
Oh, got you.
As someone who attended ECU for a year before transferring to App, I can tell you that school was detrimental for your grades and your health.
Absolutely. Thankfully, it was during COVID, so there wasn't a lot going on.
Yeah, I went once for App State ECU football back in 2009, I think it was, and the atmosphere after the game was over was like, it doesn't matter who wins and who loses, like everyone's going out.
Yeah, they don't remember the game anyways. So
yeah, insanity. But let's talk about these standings a little bit. So this does not match the Sun Belt's website, and the reason it doesn't match is for whatever reason the Sun Belt just lists the schools by conference record first, obviously, but then they seem to go by the tiebreaker of best overall record, which is not the tiebreaker when it comes to seeding for conference tournament time. So what I've done, and I believe it's correct, the only ones I had a question on was Georgia State, South Alabama, and Coastal, because it's a 3-way tie and they all haven't played each other yet. So there's where the secondary tiebreaker comes into effect. But anyways, regardless, the Sunbelt website has Southern Miss above Georgia Southern, but Georgia Southern would technically be the 3rd seed now. Do you guys care about that? Like, are you guys looking at the standings much at all right now, or are you just playing ball and just, continuing to try and win games?
I check them after every game. I actually didn't. I'm happy you said that because I didn't know that that's how it worked. I had been checking the Sunbelt page, and yeah, I had no idea. Did you say it's like a head-to-head thing? So like if you have the same record as a head-to-head tiebreaker?
It's a head-to-head first. So I'll give you this specific situation here with these bottom 3 teams. So, and you guys probably know this, but if fans are watching that don't know this, the bottom 4 teams will not make the postseason whatsoever. If you don't make the Sun Belt tournament, you certainly ain't making the NCAA tournament. So that's easy. Those 4 on the right, they're gone. Don't have to worry about them. But at the bottom, other than that, you've got 8, 9, and 10 between Georgia State, South Alabama, Coastal, all with the same conference record, as you said. Georgia State beat South Alabama straight up. They take the conference or the tiebreaker in that situation. The next tiebreaker then goes to, if the 2 teams haven't played each other, which South Alabama and Coastal have not, at least to this point. I can't remember if they're going to match up here soon or not. But regardless, they haven't played each other. So it's apparently the next tiebreaker is those 2 teams' winning percentage against the top team in the Sun Belt. Well, they both haven't played Louisiana. So what I believe happens is it goes down to the next best team that they've both played, which would be Troy, which South Alabama salvaged a 2-1 series against Troy. They got 1 win. Coastal got swept. So by virtue of that, Coastal would actually be in 10th place in this situation for conference tournament seeding, but the Sunbelt website is currently showing them in 8th. So a vast difference, if you ask me, and one that's I think is important, and that's why I tried to put this together so people see what it looks like. And in a minute, we'll get to the RPI and see how that mixes in too, because we know that that's important for NCAA tournament aspect. Obviously, doesn't matter at all for conference tournament, but it's kind of funny that a team currently sitting in 10th in its own conference is widely considered to be one of the last 4 teams into a lot of the projections as they sit right now. So take that for what it's worth. It's a lot to take in, but that's really the only 3-way tie. All the other ties are pretty there's really only one other tie because you guys have a tie. So to speak to us about that going into it. Did you know you could tie? And what is that feeling like when you tie a baseball game?
You got it, Saint?
Yeah, I mean, I knew we could tie just due to travel days. But a tie is kind of like you don't know whether you're like, oh, this is nice or this is like, I don't know. Like I almost feel like a tie is a loss because it's not a win. So like, but I don't know how that plays into like seeding or anything either. Like,
actually seems like it is almost exactly what you said. It is a tie. It's literally not a win. It's not a loss. But I guess like in this specific scenario where James Madison and you guys could possibly have had the same record had it been, let's just say, a loss instead of a tie, 13-11, obviously they would then take the head-to-head matchup and jump ahead of you. So since you have the tie in this situation, it's helping you stay above them. So in this specific circumstance right now, at this very second, it's helpful to you in a weird way. Yeah. But then, we play more games, it may not be that way. But right now, it seems to be helping you at the moment. But, yeah, I mean, Marv, Seth, you got anything to say about how we sit here in the standings currently?
I want to ask these guys, and also you kind of said you don't keep up with it, but I guess the goal would be to be top 6, kind of not have to do the play-in thing, because I believe the play-in, like that's one and done, right?
Yeah, single elimination.
Okay, yeah, so I guess top 6 is where you would want to be, so you don't have to run that risk. You can not have a great game and come back and still make it all the way.
Yeah, and while you guys are talking about that, there is what it would currently come out to. I had one guy on Reddit giving me a hard time about this way too early for these projections. I'm like, I don't know. I think people want to see this. I actually had a specific request from a Southern Miss fan on Twitter to do this. So I thought it was interesting. All I've done simply is taking last year's bracket and eliminating all the team names and put in the graphics to make it more readable here in this situation. But you see there who the play-in games would be down at the very bottom, and then where they would match up against, obviously, number 1, Louisiana at the moment, and number 2, Troy. But you guys would be going up against Southern Miss. What would your thoughts be if that is what happens down the line here?
I would love to play Southern Miss personally. There's a little bit of a home tie there. I don't know. I went to Meridian Community College, and Scott Berry was actually the coach there for a very long period of time. He was the ex-Southern Miss head guy. But yeah, I have a lot of connections there, and I know a lot of people there. So yeah, I would love to play those guys. Yeah, I agree. You can't give the Southern fans everything they want. Those guys will get you.
Yeah, we've got
I would love
the guy known as Sunbelt Conference Ref on Twitter coming in saying Southern Miss fans are so dang needy. Oh man,
there's also some blood in the water with Southern Miss too. They got us out of the tournament last year. So
yeah, in fact, as I disappear from the screen here, I still have the bracket from last year with all my pen marks on it. So I have that right here, and that was after you guys went and knocked out. Was that the next game after you knocked out Troy?
Yeah, so we beat Troy, and then we had game 1 against Southern Miss that morning. Played them, beat them that morning, and then lost to them in the afternoon.
That's right. Yeah, that's the one thing, as you can see from this bracket here. Once you basketball is a lot simpler because it's win and move on. It just keeps going. With the double elimination aspect, obviously you've got kind of like that loser bracket there at the bottom that it jumps around a lot more than basketball, I guess is what I'm trying to say in the clearest way I can say it. So it is interesting to look back and see what happened here. But you guys put up some runs last year in that tournament. Is that a ballpark that, first of all, Banks, have you ever played there for any reason? And Austin, is that one that you guys prefer? You like playing there last year?
I mean, it's a nice place to play. The facility itself is really nice. It holds a ton of people, and a ton of people come. But the park itself it's kind of weird because it's kind of like a big wall on left, but it's short, and then it's got like a cutout to center, and then the same thing with right. Right's got a short porch, and then it's got a kind of cut out to this gate in center.
Interesting.
But you guys like a billion homers there last year, didn't he?
Yeah, no, a lot of homers get hit, and a lot of balls in the gap turn into extra bases. So
interesting,
especially if Tolley's out there.
I'm running all those down. Good try.
E6. Me and shortstop in Montgomery are not friends.
Oh no!
Oh yeah,
is it history there?
After my surgery, they put me at shortstop, and I made back-to-back errors my first 2 balls. So it was fun.
You got the bad ones out of the way early. It's all right.
My first year there, I played first, so it doesn't matter. At least.
Yeah.
He wasn't friends with a long ball until this year either, so we're looking like we're in good shape.
Relax.
Yeah.
Dude, we get it. You beat the record.
Oh, okay.
What?
Oh man. So talk about that. I think the next thing. Okay, well, let's get into this, and then we can jump back to the RPI whenever we get to it. Talk about that, Banks, if you would. Did you? Was the record known? Did you know you were coming up on it?
Come on, of course they knew.
Yeah, I knew.
Of course.
Okay.
Luckily, I didn't really wait around, thankfully, to do it. So I didn't really have too much stress about it. You got CJ chasing the career one, and then I was chasing the single season one. And I had been tied with it for I think 4 games. And yeah, it was in the back of my mind, but I don't ever really try specifically to hit home runs. I just swing as hard as I can every time, and wherever it goes, it goes. And so I didn't really have to I didn't change my approach or anything. And luckily I went ahead and got it out of the way at Georgia State. Gave me a little bit more freedom. But again, yeah, it didn't really affect my play. But of course I knew. Everybody was like, oh, he's getting nervous. After I gone a few game streak of not hitting one, they were like, oh, he's freaking out.
No, he was freaking out.
Oh, man.
What was the stat I saw? I guess it was on Instagram with him and Cagnalum.
That was a very friendly nitpicking of stats, but it was guys hitting 385 plus with 21 plus homers, and it was me, Cags, Bazana. Yeah, and I was I was looking at some of the stats, and there's some that was very nitpicked, but it still is a really cool stat. Yeah, it was awesome.
Usually those stats are the same guy. These guys wake up. Both guys wake up every morning before 6, and it's ridiculous. But yeah, to be mentioned in those categories, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
Hey, while we're talking about stats, I told you guys I had some of these, so I'm going to nerd out for a second. And I want you guys to talk about just the team as a whole and then yourselves individually. So, got 6 guys on the team hitting above 300. And in the Sun Belt Conference at leads in the following offensive categories: batting average, slugging percentage, runs scored, hits, RBIs, doubles, tied for home runs, total bases, hit by pitches, which I'm sure you guys aren't happy about that. Also,
we love HBPs.
We love it.
Hey, it's an on base. Second in on base percentage, second to the bottom in strikeouts and caught stealing. So, you guys are raking. And then 3 of the top 10 Sun Belt hitters. Austin 391, Tolley 384, and Joseph at 373 in conference play. So, you guys are smashing the baseball. Talk about it.
We rake, man. I mean, I've been saying it.
The boys rake.
Yeah. I will take credit for the caught stealings. I've just haven't figured it out in the base pass this year for some reason.
Dude's legs are a liability.
Yeah, I mean, I get going and I can't stop myself. So, yeah, we're just gonna hang up the stealing cleats for a while.
Dude, just hit it out the park and then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, they're gonna run the bases if the ball's over the fence.
Real, very real.
Very true.
I'll just continue to hit it right at people.
Yeah, there's a funny stat that I don't think y'all know about. Saint has 25. What is it? Is it 25, 26?
27.
27 balls hit over 100 that are outs.
Holy crap.
So, I mean, there was a stretch there where I thought he was going to internally combust if he lined out again. I mean, he would literally destroy a ball, and it would go right to somebody. He'd come in the dugout. But I was telling him the game knows. So he's been getting a few.
I'm due for 400 hits in the conference.
Yeah, that's real. He's going to get 8 dink hits in the next 2 weeks, and it'll all make up for itself.
It's all because you guys have been on here. Tonight it's going to lead to a lot of good things.
I know. This is just the game changer tonight.
All right, so we told you that we had the Troy guys on. They were 2 pitchers, and we asked them a couple questions related to pitching and wanted to get the other side from the hitters. You hit a bomb, 450, dead center, bat flip, or slow trot around the bases? What's your go-to?
Throw your bat at the dugout.
I'm a slow trot guy.
Okay.
Saint likes watching him from the dugout and getting Coach Smith mad at us. At least it looks sick, though. I mean, I will say, if you see the video, that thing is that's the most dope video I've ever seen in my life.
There's a video of it?
You had it, I thought.
No.
Oh, is that another one you put?
Oh no, that's a different one.
It was sick. That was
my one of 4 my first year.
I was in the dugout oh my goodness, he freaking destroyed that.
Yeah, I got a stern talking to after.
From a bat.
I by default have to be a slow trot guy.
Well, both of the Troy pitchers say that nothing annoys them more than a slow trot. They don't mind a bat flip if it's a shot in a big situation, but slow trot pisses them off. So
I have a question.
Slow trot.
Was Luke Lyon one of those pitchers?
He was not.
No.
Okay, cool. Never mind. That was my only question. I know Luke pretty well, so.
Okay. The other question we asked.
Austin, guess where I met those boys at from Troy to get them on here?
Oh, really?
We were at Chili's. That's where I meet all you guys at.
Y'all playing
Just
trivia?
walk up and say, who wants to be on a podcast?
All right,
Seth, let me remind you, Seth, there are no free ads on this program, okay? So
yeah,
you walk into that Chili's, you tell them.
We got to ask, what kind of wings?
I go for the triple dipper, and I usually get the honey. Is it the honey
crispers?
Yeah, the honey chicken crispers. I get the big mouth bites, and then I usually get the mozzarella sticks. But if I go for like something a little bit different, I get the boneless barbecue wings.
Do you not take him to tavern, Austin?
He don't come out.
I got you.
Hey, I got a follow-up question, Austin. I also fancy myself as a big Panda Express fan. What are your go-to entrees?
So I get the same thing every single time that I go, unless they don't have it, because sometimes they don't have it. So bigger plate.
Yep.
You go honey sesame, double honey sesame, and then you go orange chicken and fried rice.
Fried rice. I'm a orange chicken Beijing beef guy. Those are my two.
See, Beijing beef's good too.
Yeah, it's very good.
And
I'm
they
noodle
just
guy.
released a spicy shrimp. Sorry, Tolley, but and that's really good too.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to ask a question that we asked.
Hold on, Marv. While we're still talking food, one side note, I don't know if we got any Barbaritos fans out there, but R.I.P. Barbaritos.
Barbaritos is legendary.
What?
Yeah, was that like a Moe's? Like a
Barbaritos is at Ingle, beside Ingles. Yeah, it was like our Moe's. No more Barbaritos.
Yeah, because it was right next to the field, so we used to go eat there all the time.
Real quick. I figured out why you guys have the most hit by pitches, because slow trots will get you plunked, as the Sunbelt ref says. So it makes sense.
And we're just tougher than every other team in the Sunbelt.
There you go. And already saying, man, y'all need some Tex-Mex food. Yeah, I mean, if you lost is that the only real place like that in Boone?
Chipotle, but
yeah, Chipotle.
Chipotle's trash. No free ads, and Chipotle's trash. So yeah. Do what?
Tolley's a Chipotle guy.
If I want to go get some average food, I go to Chipotle.
Where y'all going when you're in Boone and you're hungry? Where are you going?
Ooh,
Cookout.
Yeah.
Domino's.
Can't. Cookout's diabolical.
The worst food that I can find.
I'm gonna go.
I can't blame you there.
Peppers is unreal.
Oh, Peppers. Ooh, Bella's is good too.
Bella's.
Dude, I haven't been there. What's that? I'm gonna go.
Oh, it's Italian, bro.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got to.
Bro.
Do they have one, or do you have to go to Blowing Rock to get it? Or not? It's gonna be not Blowing Rock, but
Banner Out.
Banner Out.
They got one in Boone too.
Do they? Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Town Tavern's coming to Banner Out. Big news.
Really?
Yeah.
Expanding. All right.
Sorry, Marv.
Continue the food thought.
So Seth and I, and probably even Marv back in the day too, would all venture up to Blowing Rock to go to Woodlands Barbecue when it was the good original Woodlands.
These boys don't know about it.
Okay, so they don't know anything about Woodlands.
Whoa.
Okay, Austin's got some
Fire.
insight there.
10 out of 10.
Well, okay, because I was going to say you're
Austin
from the
knows
other
about
side of the
Woodlands.
state.
Yeah. No, I've only had it like probably twice, but fantastic.
The old Woodlands. Old Woodlands.
Old
Not the
Woodlands.
new
Yeah.
stuff. Okay.
Yeah. It's not even in the same spot now, right, Seth?
Do what?
It's not even in the same spot as it was when I lived up in Boone, right?
There is no more Woodlands.
Yeah, Woodlands is gone.
Oh, it's completely gone. That's right. Okay.
R.I.P.
Y'all
Everything's
also talking about Blowing Rock. I don't know anything about that place.
So
You're not missing much.
Yeah,
You're not
when I
missing
was in school at App, kind of dating myself, you had to go to Blowing Rock to get a liquor drink. You could not get a liquor drink in Boone. So if you wanted anything liquor, you had to drive to Blowing Rock and then drive back, which is probably the dumbest thing on the face of the earth. But that's what you had to do. And this was before Uber, Lyft, all that stuff. So you had to man up, go have your drinks, and then just cross your fingers and drive back and hope that it went well.
Man up.
We never did
back in the mid '90s, boys.
Yeah,
That's elite. Is that before police or?
No. The police patrol that area very often around from 1 to 3, knowing that we called it the gauntlet. It's like you had to go to Blowing Rock to have a little bit of fun, then you had to run the gauntlet back home.
That's awesome.
I got a speeding ticket, but I had never drank. At that point, I wasn't legal age to drink anyway, but I was coming back from work. I got a ticket on the gauntlet, but again, not under the influence of anything, luckily. I did get the license taken away at that point. Yikes. Anyway, Marv, go back to your questions.
We asked the Troy guys who the hardest guy in the league to get out was. I can't remember who they said. Somebody at Georgia Southern.
2 guys from App, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, I felt disrespected they didn't say anybody from App. But so I guess the reverse question of that is, who's the hardest guy in the league to hit off of? Who's got the best stuff that you just got to battle every time you're at bat?
I go with that freaking lefty from South Al, man. The first reliever out of the pen Friday. Any lefty, I mean, all of them. I don't know. The guy from South Al with the blonde curly hair, I don't know his name, but I mean, that dude had control of 4 pitches with a 24 vert fastball. I mean,
Oh, the dude I hit the pump off of?
oh yeah, you did hit a pump.
Oh,
You
my
and
bad.
Drew. You and Drew.
What the dude from Marshall?
I
Right.
had a homer off him.
Bryce Bevlin's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we took care of him pretty well, but he's been
Yeah,
doing.
we handled him well, but we've also seen him back-to-back years too.
I mean, statistically, he's a stud. I mean, I think he won his 4th pitcher of the week award this week, best ERA in the league. So just happens to be on a team that can't put runs up to help him.
Yeah, during this, we were told that there wasn't a lot of slug on him, and we slugged. So,
Yeah, we changed that. So.
Yeah.
Well, he may be coming on the week after you guys are on here. Wink, wink, wink. We're working on it.
Uh-oh.
Also, who do you think's got the best stuff in the league?
Jackson Steensma.
Real. Actually real.
Yeah, I don't like hitting off him. So I can only assume that other people don't like hitting off him either. But
Dude, that's so true. I wasn't thinking about our team.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, and how many times does he hit you by pitch when he's upset with you guys?
he's accidentally hit me twice. But yeah, I mean, he's been good since he's got here. So yeah, he stepped on and dominated, which sucks in the fall, but it's really cool in the spring.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I'm 0 for 2 with 2 punches against him, and it wasn't even close.
Hey,
No,
Marv,
but it's really cool because I get to just go sit out there and look at the pretty field the whole time because he just blows it by everybody.
So real.
So we had all the kids on the show. We did like a little pre-show on Sunday. And Marv, tell him what Logan, his main request for these boys are. He wants to have the entire App State baseball team on our podcast.
Yeah, my youngest son says, "Why can't you get the entire team on the podcast?" Like, well, I don't think you understand how cameras work. That would be
You'll just get him indoor.
We'd have to mute a few guys.
We're paying these guys enough. I don't think we can pay the whole team.
Yeah, and Chili's coupons. That's what we hand out when it's over.
Shout out Chili's for the sponsorship. Wink, wink.
Yeah, we want our money, Chili's. We want our money.
Oddly enough, JJ Steeney is typing right now.
Uh-oh.
Nice.
Uh-oh, there it goes.
I'm about to cook him.
Well, while he's typing away, you guys, lose the first one 9-5 there on Friday, but you hammer them in the second 2, 10-2, and run roll them in the Sunday finale, which I guess there's really 2 Sunday finales, but 13-1 there. Does that get you feeling you're going in the right direction here in the last 2 weeks of conference play?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I feel
like since we've been out of school, like, I guess we've just got to be around each other more without any outside influence of anything. And I feel like we've really gelled as a whole. So I feel like the trend is going up as we all just kind of gel a little bit more, and pitchers are starting to get hot and hitters are getting hot. So And even our sub guys too, some guys that come in on random days like Cam Miller, like dude's got 9 hits and 5 of them are jacks. Like,
yeah, I mean, I feel like everything's starting to come together. At least that's what it feels like. So I think a lot of guys that we've really needed to step up, especially in the pitching department. The hitting department as well, but like a lot of arms have been performing where we expected them to, because I feel like we haven't gotten as much distance out of guys, or we haven't gotten enough opportunities for those guys. But they're figuring it out. Sleeper has been really, really good. Phenomenal. Everett had a huge start against Wake Forest, did great. Cody's figuring it out. It's like a lot of guys are just kind of figuring it out all at the same time.
Great Tuich too.
Tuich.
Yeah.
Tuich. Yeah, I got to walk up to the Duke game with Tuich's father. We almost walked like the whole distance from the parking garage together, so that was kind of cool. He got to go for a little bit in that game, kind of early on, but very cool that you guys.
He's got the best changeup I've ever seen in my life. So.
Thanks, Tolley. Easy answer to that question.
Trash, absolute trash.
I mean, S tier walk up. Drew Holderback has the worst one. We know that.
No. First of all, nobody even knows what song you walk up to.
That's
they only
why
look at you and you're like. Temperature by Sean Paul. Whoever has that is goated.
If you were to Google default walk-up song, Temperature by Sean Paul comes up. Good song.
I'm surprised they found a clean version for yours. You got that song straight off of SoundCloud.
Real.
He made it in a basement with his iPhone.
I like my Memphis rappers, right?
We're not getting a show done tonight, fellas.
They are the show. This is the show. This is perfect.
This is fine.
All right. So what was the answer to the question?
Outside of me, I would go. I like Max's.
No,
dude.
Absolutely.
And what are they?
We have different music taste here.
For the listeners and the viewers, you got to tell us the song name too, so we have some kind of an idea, because we don't know all of them off the top of our head.
Okay, so mine is South Memphis Rugrats. It's unbelievable. I mean, you guys should listen to it. Good
Unbelievably bad.
I'm gonna write that down just so I can.
Make sure no kids are around when you put it on.
Yes, that's true. Or play a clean version.
My kid's walk-up song for travel ball is Rough Riders Anthem by DMX. So
good. I love it.
Stop. Shut them down.
It's hilarious.
I like Grams too. Grams is good.
Grams is a good one.
Soul Survivor by Akon.
Yeah, good one.
Nice. What are some ones that you guys have heard is his best walk-up song in the league? You guys heard somebody come up and go, I'd have never thought that one, but that was good.
I'm not even, I'm going to be completely transparent here and say that I've been disappointed with the walk-up song selection of the.
Yeah, they've been really bad recently. But last year we played A&T, and I think their 2-hole hitter. It was called "Welcome to the Jam Rock," and that was his walk-up song. I never would have thought about it.
That's a Jamaican. They're Jamaican horns and everything like that. Yeah, I know that one. Okay. There was a guy that walked up at Duke, and it was like it wasn't a walk-up song at all, and that's what made it kind of great. And like people started singing it. I can't remember for the life of me what song it was, but it's like an '80s love ballad that he walks up to the plate to. I don't know. Marv, do you remember that?
I do remember that. I'm trying to think of the song. And I want to say it was one of their dudes that like smashed the baseball too.
Yeah, I think it was Ben Miller.
Come up with
Okay.
that.
Yeah, no, it was Ben Miller, dude with the mustache.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. When you can play like that, you can get away with it, I guess, right?
Yeah, I guess when you carry that
When you're hitting
mega
400,
stick that he's got is crazy. That dude just hits, and it's crazy.
Well, I never had a walkout song, but I do want to tell you one fun thing that we had. I played hockey in high school. It was just club hockey, so we kind of had a more free-flowing way of doing warm-ups and everything. And on our senior night, we came out to like a bunch of 80s songs, and one of them was "Every Time I Think About You, I Touch Myself." The crowd ate it up. It was the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen, as two hockey teams fully padded up are skating around taking slap shots, and that song is playing in the background at the top of the volume. But good time. So I do appreciate the people that have fun with the walk-up songs and have some funny stuff too. But yeah,
I would like to re-emphasize that Drew Holderback has the worst one. It's a Post Malone song. It's terrible. He had a great walk-up song to begin the year. Changed the walk-up song because he was like, "Oh, my family likes Post Malone." Like, Drew, who cares? Walk up to something sick and stop choosing bad songs.
I'm gonna re-emphasize that Tolley's is F tier.
What is it? Memphis Rugrats? Is that what it is?
South Memphis Rugrats.
South Memphis.
S
I'm
tier.
writing that down.
S tier.
and where did you find this song? Like, is this something you just loved, or you heard this one time and you're like, I gotta have that as my walk-up?
First time I heard it, that's a walk-up song. I was actually in my house last year, and the song came on, and I was like,
Yeah, after the
That's
dude
gonna be
handed
my
him
walk-up
his
song.
CD outside of the gas station.
fire. Fire.
Yeah, Welcome to Jamrock is Damian Marley, Bob Marley's son.
Yeah, that song's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it is a good one. Haven't heard that one in a while. Artie also let us know Marshall did end up winning that game, Battle for the Bell, 7-4 over Ohio. So that bodes well for the RPI for you guys. So there's a positive. I don't know how big of a positive. I don't know where Ohio sits on the RPI scale, but here, we'll jump back to that. Let's just see what the conference is looking like there. Do you guys care about the RPI? I mean, we've seen, a little bit of differentiating thoughts on the standings. What about the RPI? Is that something you guys as players care about, keep track of, anything like that?
Some guys do, but I don't know what all goes into it. So I guess
it's an important metric, but I mean, I really care more about how we're playing than even my record,
Yeah. Because to note, as we just talked about with Marshall, they have the worst RPI in the league at 207, which is horrendous, but that's what happens when you lose more than you win in the first place and, playing some out-of-conference teams that probably aren't as good. And you've got, again, Coastal sitting at 10th in the conference. Their RPI sits at the highest in the conference, however, at 32, helped greatly by playing about half their season to start with at home against some pretty good competition. And to note, they could still improve upon that because I'm going to double check this real quick before I say it. Clemson is now number 2 in the country, and they have them for a midweek next week. So even if they do drop another game or two within the conference, they get a win over number 2 Clemson, or even if they're
How far do you think that win would go?
What was that?
How do you think how far a win would go for Coastal over Clemson?
I think it put them in the NCAA tournament if they have any kind of winning record down the stretch.
Yeah.
Like even one game above 500 with a win versus Clemson, you sit in an RPI above 30. I mean, yeah. I would assume you're in.
For the last couple of weeks, so I think that Coastal, it's just recency bias with them. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, you've played them. Obviously, we played them at home. We beat them this year. I don't think they're the 10th best team in the conference. I think they're better than that, but I don't think they're the 32nd best team in the country.
I think they were a talented group of guys. We played really well that weekend as well. They have some good guys that were really, really hot at the beginning of the year that have kind of cooled off. But yeah, when we played them, they were on their stretch of winning every game they played, I feel like. And yeah, I mean, I thought they were a good program, to be honest with you. I don't know if top 30 in the country, but yeah, I thought they were good.
Yeah, I mean, they're Coastal, so they got a lot of really talented guys, and I just feel like just talking to some of them, and I get the chance to talk to a lot of guys in the infield. I just don't know if they're clicking the right way right now, but I feel like they're like Tolley said, they're a really talented group, and yeah, I mean, from pitching to hitting, I mean, they've got a good group.
I think their recent struggles have been mostly pitching, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's definitely what they think there. Southern Miss up there in fourth in the conference, 42 in RPI. They've had some pitching struggles. Apparently, if you ask Southern Miss fans, they don't believe, Sunday usually goes too well for them. But, they just cleared that obstacle against Coastal, who we just talked about just this past weekend. Interesting enough, let's talk about this one. Number 3 in the conference, number 70 RPI, which sits just 2 below you guys. It probably changes slightly by the time you play this, but you play Georgia Southern, a hated rival across almost all sports when it comes to App State. You get them at home in the last series of the conference slate. Is that something you guys look forward to that at all, or you guys don't even care yet?
Oh, yeah, we look forward to it. I mean, I'm thinking about ODU, but, yeah, I can't wait for our last home series.
Yeah, I agree. We went down there last year, so it'll be good for them to come here this year.
Nice. A little revenge tour.
Did you get a tetanus shot when you left Statesboro?
What happened?
Did you get a tetanus shot when you left Statesboro?
No, I probably needed to.
Yeah. I thought they gave them to you on the way out of town.
They probably should.
They definitely should.
Yeah. By the way, for conference tournament time, are you busing down there? Or do you get to fly down there?
No, we bus down.
A lot of MOF to be played.
Lot of MOF.
You can.
It's a good time.
It's
right in between being too long and not too long. So,
gotcha. Is was it like Louisiana and Texas State? Are those the only flights that you're really taking in this conference then?
Yeah, we flew to Texas and Ark State.
Yep, Ark State.
Oh yeah, that would be a treacherous drive because that's like all the way across. Well, I guess not from Boone. It's not. From where I'm at, it's all the way across North Carolina and then all the way across Tennessee to get into Arkansas. But
it was a treacherous flight. We got held up for like 5 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a whole thing. They lost one of our bags. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, they lost my bag.
Oh,
is that on the way back?
Yeah, ball bag. Not fun.
Oh. It didn't have the panda in it, did it?
No, that dude stays in my pocket.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he comes on the bus with me and everything.
Nice. He didn't have any war wounds from the travel experience. Then that's good.
Can't.
He lost the eye from another venture where he got slammed against the wall repeatedly.
Yeah, I think he needs to throw Colin against the wall.
All right, so which one of us from the podcast is going to dress up like a huge panda and show up in the locker room to help that happen?
All of you. It'll be his worst nightmare.
All right. Apparently, ULM is up 11-6 in the bottom of the ninth, so that one's looking pretty good too. So we could have a pretty good record for the conference on a Wednesday night. We've got an App State fan in Neil Higgins who's been on the road quite a few times to see you guys play this year because he gave me the play-by-play in the Wake game, which he was at. So Seth, beside Banks' parents at Shelby versus Wake, super nice people. His mom didn't want to wait in line for food. I suggested DoorDash, and she did. Didn't take long. They delivered DoorDash to the stadium. That's amazing.
We're DoorDash.
This dude gets DoorDash to our stadium every day. He's in on the training table. He's like, saying, "Can you go get my DoorDash?" It's right out there by the gate.
Yes, I did not inherit the patience gene from my mom. That's for sure.
Nice.
So
does the DoorDash person have to pay $5 to park, Seth? Do you know the answer to that? Or?
I don't know. That's an answer for these boys. That's a question.
They kind of drive around until me or one of my teammates. It's usually I'll be in the training room and one of the guys will be coming into the field and they'll be like, "Oh, it's for Banks again," and then come bring it in to me.
Oh. Does anybody call you?
Time you DoorDash heaters to our dugout?
Yeah, before my first pump of the year, DoorDash Popeyes to the dugout at High Point.
Jeez.
No, when you DoorDash the heaters.
Oh yeah, that's right. So
at JMU.
I can't hit when my hands are cold, and we forgot the heater. I forgot the heater because I'm an idiot, and. So I was like, I gotta have we gotta figure this out. Like, I checked in the bathroom to see if there was a heater. There wasn't. And yeah, my mom ordered some. They showed up right at game time. It was awesome. I didn't help as much.
Amazing what you can do these days with that stuff.
It's unbelievable.
Just insanity.
Why are you shaking your head? Huh?
It's the softest thing I've ever heard of.
Oh, come on. He's from Mississippi. He wasn't used to that Boone weather when he first got up there.
Yeah, he's used to having his hands covered completely while he's kicking a soccer ball around.
That's real.
Hey, I was a foot fairy too. Whatever.
So was I. Going back to that real quick. So Banks, you did a camp up here, you said, in Boone. Were you disappointed, or did you even know at that point when you were coming up that they had lost the men's soccer team?
No, this is pre-COVID. So this is like 2016. I'm like a sophomore, junior in high school. It was the summer. So they still had a program. And I came up, and I just remember being like super out of breath when we were playing and wondering why I was so out of breath. I know it's the elevation now, but yeah, I remember thinking like this place is beautiful. Like this place is awesome. I would love to go to school here. And yeah, I mean, it's crazy that I'm where I'm at now. I would have never guessed it.
The economic impact on losing the soccer team in Boone was tremendous.
Yeah, I heard they sold out all their games.
I don't even think
really.
I don't even think they charged to go to games.
They were free admission.
Yeah.
There's Seth's knowledge of soccer. He's like, oh wait, really? Seth,
Have you ever watched an entire soccer game in your whole life?
No, not at all.
It's a long time to Old Focus. There's no commercials.
Yeah. So we were talking last night, Marv and I, watching the Carolina Hurricanes. Screw those Boston Bruins. Excuse me. But we asked Seth if he had caught any of the game, and he's like, yeah, I turned it on for a little bit. I caught an inning.
Yeah, I watched the first inning.
Hey, I did go to a Rangers game at Madison Square Garden one time, so I can say that.
There you go.
That was fun.
There you go. I had to give Austin a little hard time about the.
I went to a Hurricanes game with both of you guys.
So what? Yeah,
I went to a Hurricanes game with both of you guys.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I still didn't get that because you guys were both talking at the same time.
Hurricanes game, both of you guys. We went together.
Oh, yes. Okay, yes. Yeah, it was probably like one of the first times I met you, Marvin. Now we've got a podcast where we do this.
Look how everything comes full circle, man.
It's amazing. All right, so let's get back to this. RPI for ODU is a little bit worse than where you guys sit. It's 75, 72. So let's just make sure to sweep them in Norfolk 3 straight. Shut that stadium down with style.
You got to go 0-3 against us, though.
Yeah, you got to pick the sweep the other way, Dom. Actually, no, don't change anything. 2-1.
2-1?
Like it is. Stay a little consistent. And
Okay.
like I said, it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. You can't catch up anyway.
Actually, we're not picking this week. It doesn't matter. My kid will pick.
Oh, yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
Clean plate there. But we'll put this one on just for the fact that our guys are on here tonight, plus ODU's shutting down that stadium after this. So we'll both of those reasons. Have you guys been up there in that area before? You said, well, actually, Austin, you said you went with ECU or no?
I didn't go. I didn't travel.
Okay.
But this is just what I got when they got back.
Got you. So that's what you – okay. All right. Well, best of luck in that one. Do you guys you guys have been on here for almost an hour and a half. I don't know if you've got stuff to do. If you want to just roll through this stuff with us, I'll leave that up to you guys.
I'm going to go pick up a pizza.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to end with this question we ask everybody, and Austin, you answered the first time. So, Banks, all of us got kids that play baseball, right? Every kid growing up wants to be a Division I athlete and have a chance to make it to the show. So if you were talking to a younger version of yourself about how to get to where you are, what would be the best advice that you would give a 8, 9, 10-year-old Banks Tolley?
1, swing as hard as you can. There's nothing wrong with that. 2, if you ever need any information, it's always out there. You can educate yourself on pretty much anything under the sun. And you wouldn't believe how many things that you can educate yourself on that will, whether it be taking care of your body, your weight training, your sleep, or all that stuff. Like, you can always educate yourself. Swing hard, educate yourself if you need to.
Perfect.
Very nice. All right. So to expand on that just slightly, You played soccer.
Creatine, yeah.
Tolley loves creatine.
Oh, he's got a bigger tub.
I've been secretly putting it in my kid's milk since he was 4.
Tolley loves creatine.
I lecture all the guys.
That's why his torso is 6 times longer than his legs.
Oh,
That's
man.
fair. My shirt comes untucked all the time. It's outrageous.
Nice.
Banks, we appreciate having you, man. Austin, as always, it's a pleasure, my man. We appreciate you.
Thank you guys for having
Really
us.
appreciate it.
Yeah, man, appreciate you guys.
Sweet.
Yeah. See you guys.
See ya.
That was a quick little bye, but
Let me see if I can fix us up here. There we go. I'll fix it as we go.
I'm going to tell Mason that tomorrow morning. I'm like, hey, swing hard and take creatine, son. Let's go get it.
Yep. Love it. Love it. All right, I'm going to try and move us over here a little bit.
so Artie next week, have you confirmed that?
No, I can't get in touch with Artie. Artie needs to email sunbeltsyndicate@gmail.com. I'll put it in the comments.
Was that HR?
Yeah, that's HR. That's the shell email for the podcast.
So, Artie, if you're listening, that's the most indirect way we can say we want you to be on the podcast. Send us a way to get in touch with you. We want you on.
Yeah.
He may not want anybody knowing his real identity.
It might not. I mean, he may have no interest. I mean, he may not want to be on at all. But
If you do have a surprise next week, correct?
we do, and that's a hint is right here below us right now, as we've got the Georgia State Panthers who took on the Marshall Thundering Herd. And on Friday, we had a extra inning affair where Marshall took the game 6-5 and 11, and they would take the game Saturday 9-1. And Georgia State would get a little revenge on Sunday, and actually a lot of revenge, really. 17
coming on the podcast. Look at that right there.
I like it. So I will tell you, speaking of that, I went and found his tag from YouTube, and apparently on YouTube you can't send anybody a message. So I was like, man, that would have been the easiest, right? Just find his account, send him a message. Couldn't find that. So then I already picked out like the most unique name to go with for YouTube, because I Google searched it, and it's like he left one review, it seems, if it was him, on some restaurant thing with his tagline from YouTube. And that was the only 2 things, his YouTube channel and the tag from a restaurant review, which may not have even been him. It might have been somebody using a random one. But those are literally the only 2 things. You couldn't find any name attached to anything. So we'll have to ask him about that. So yeah, let me type this thing up. You guys expand. I was surprised by this outcome, I guess. I'll start with that, and then you guys can expand on your thoughts on that matchup there.
I think Georgia State has been sliding a little bit. You look at that Saturday game, obviously the Belvin's kid, who's in a stud, 1-4 pitcher of the week. I think he struck out 11. If Marshall's pitching is good, they can win. They can beat anybody. But once again, their bats just haven't been there. They were there, the first 2 games, and 8 runs is respectable, but they got hammered in that third one. But no, it doesn't surprise me. I think we talked about kind of the parity of talent in the Sun Belt. One of the bottom teams could beat one of the top teams in the series, and it shouldn't. While it may be a shock on paper, it shouldn't surprise you.
Yeah, Seth, this one surprised you at all, or were you?
I'm with Marv on this one. I don't think. No, not at all. Georgia State. I was thinking about this past weekend about baseball in general, how a lot of teams start hot in the beginning of the year, and we always think that they're going to be there at the end of the year. And Georgia State was one of those teams, I think, that was in the back of our head the whole time, that we kind of knew this is where they would end up eventually. And Marshall took care of business, and I think I don't think that surprises anybody here.
Yeah. I guess I just thought Georgia State's, it's like we've seen, I guess they can be really hot or they can be really cold. And I guess you guys were probably more along the lines of being correct then, that at this point they're kind of just cooling off instead of jumping up and down a lot more. So
Now, in all fairness, if we had to pick that series last week, I would have gone 2-1 Georgia State. But in one of those where, hey, if it went 2-1 the other way, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, not shocking. That's true. All right, so Marshall goes to James Madison to play them up there in Harrisonburg, Virginia, where just like the flooding I was talking about, with maybe in the area Artie's in, but hopefully not. It seems like he's, commenting and doing his normal thing. So I guess he's not too affected by that, luckily. But James Madison's had some crazy flooding as well. I don't know if you've seen some of their accounts. I think just Barstool accounts and all kinds of other accounts from the students that are being shared around. I mean, they're literally like boogie boarding down, like stairways and tunnels, walking tunnels. So it'll be interesting to see, how much that affects any of the field. I believe they've got a turf field too, I think, if anyone knows that off the top of their head.
I don't
know. I think they do. I mean, you got up there and you got a football field and turf. I'd assume you're trying to have your baseball field in the same. They got that App State Marshall thing going on in their area with weather and not having the greatest run of it to start the season. So you'd think they'd have a turf field, but who knows? But I don't know. Are you favoring James Madison in this one? Because I think I would at this point.
We'll go JMU.
Yeah, we'll go
2-1.
We'll go the RPI princess of the Sun Belt. We'll go JMU.
Yeah, I think if I had to pick, we can give our picks. We're not saving anything this week since the kids are going to do it. So I would pick JMU, but you're right. I wouldn't be shocked if Marshall somehow wins 2-1, but I would favor JMU to take this at least 2-1 and possibly even sweep, especially with it being there in Harrisonburg, as we saw, when App State went up there, was not an easy thing, and JMU's a solid team all the way around. So
the only thing that would shock me would be a sweep the other direction. If Marshall swept JMU, that would be the surprise.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, Seth, you go first on this one. Thoughts? Shocked Coastal got swept down there at the Pete, or do you think that you kind of expected it?
A sweep, I think, is shocking. I believe one out of the three of us has questioned Coastal all year. I'm not real sure who it was. Seems like whoever that was pretty smart, though. I didn't expect it to be this bad. Yep. 8 in a row up until last night, but I don't. But it's crazy to think about, like we just talked about a minute ago, one win and a midweek coming up could put you in the tournament alone based on RPI. So,
yeah.
I don't think they're completely buried just yet. But I also don't think when everybody was freaking out at the beginning of the year, because you remember the home series with like Indiana and Duke and everything like that, and everybody was losing their mind. Still that one solid win against Campbell and lost to State, correct? Did beat Carolina, right?
Yes.
They did.
So, I mean –
and to note, when they beat Carolina, that was more significant than just a midweek win. At that point, Carolina hadn't lost a home game since last season. They were like 27 wins at home. So that was big for multiple reasons. Like if people are going to put that into their head when it comes time to pick teams in the tournament, that may be a factor people think about. I don't know, but
I think their quality wins are definitely they'll sneak in somehow. I believe. I really do believe that.
Even with an early exit in the tournament?
That's a little questionable.
Yeah, they're going to have to win some games in the tournament. Hey, does anyone know why the last game only went 7 innings in a one-run game?
I don't.
Could
that have been a Sunday game?
It was a Sunday game. Maybe that's why. Because that is interesting. I didn't even think about that.
It could have been a rain delay starting late.
Who knows?
Yeah.
The SBC ref, maybe he knows the rules on that because I think he's at least aware of Southern Miss. So we'll see what that is. Now it's now between. Are you saying it's now between Coastal and Texas State for 10th place and the tournament? I do have to agree. I mean, I won't jump back to the standings right now, but pretty much from who was it that was there? Was Arkansas State up there? But Arkansas State, Marshall, and ULM are essentially out.
Yeah, Texas State currently is
currently out.
Currently, yeah, the last out, but I think they're within a game of one another in the standings. Be interesting to see. I know we're going to go to the next slide who Coastal has this weekend and then who Texas State has. I mean, there's still a lot to be determined. You look at App, since we have the App guys on tonight. I mean, we play two teams that are literally right there with us in the standings. I mean, you sweep a series, you come out looking great, you get swept, and then you're like, holy crap, we're playing guys now.
Yeah, it's going to make a big difference. The downside for all those teams, even Georgia Southern in that last series that Apple play, is none of them are really going to gain an advantage as far as RPI goes because they're all right there in that same region. So none of those teams are going to, even if they swept, are going to jump up to like 10, 15 spots type of thing. They might move 2 or 3 at the most type situation. So these other teams, like, again, what we talked about with Coastal right here on the screen, have a midweek against what is now currently the number 2 team in the country at Clemson. That, you jump in the RPI when you get a win like that. So, but speaking of Coastal right now, they're going to play at home versus Georgia State. At this point, they get a win during the midweek over UNCG. They did allow 9 runs in that game, however, Coastal did. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, you think Coastal wakes the hell up and they get?
I think they bounce back. Solid.
Yeah,
I think they go 3-0 this weekend.
You pick them to sweep?
I do. I don't think they get Clemson, but I think they sweep Georgia State.
Yeah, I would say 2-1 over Georgia State. Georgia State's on the slide. It's in Conway. I think Coastal's the better team.
Here we go. Here's the ruling. Teams determined no innings start after 2:30 due to the travel for Coastal. So, yeah, that was what it was. It was a 6-5 game and 7 innings because of the travel aspect.
Wow.
Yep. And Artie's saying it's a bummer for them because they have to play Troy.
Oh, sorry, Artie.
Yeah, that's not going to be easy, man. They did lose to Alabama in a 1-run game that probably could have been closer had they done a little bit of base running. Did you guys say you saw the ending of that?
I did not.
No.
It was a long fly out, bottom of the 9th, long fly out. I think there was only 1 out. No. It was to walk. The game ended on the play. So there was 2 outs.
Fly out and the guy got I think from picking up
that's what it was.
I got doubled off.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yes. But he didn't have to go, right? Or he could. Actually, there was a play at first. He slid back into first, and had he slid hands first, he may have made it. From what I saw, like what I was deeming, but he slid feet first, and then I think possibly he came off the bag to get tagged. Huh. We're seeing this on a expanded view on like Twitter, so I can't tell if the tag was before he even slid or if it actually happened because he came off the bag after sliding, over top of it with the leg situation. Because he definitely kind of turns around and tries to touch that bag. But anyway, just a terrible way to lose at home against a team that obviously in state you really want to have that victory. But yeah, I'll be honest. I kind of agree. Which one of you? I think Marv, you said 2-1 Coastal. I'm leaning that way because one reason. I do kind of agree with Seth. I think Coastal goes on a run and wakes up here. But at the same time, like one of those games could get away because they're just gripping the bat too tight. They feel like they need it too much, and Georgia State is more relaxed. Just gets one. So I'll go 2-1 Coastal on that one. And I do want to say thanks to Randy Kent. He's the one who shared the reasoning behind that Southern Miss Coastal early ending, I guess.
Yeah. All
right. Georgia Southern versus ULM, the clean sweep. Not a surprise for me. I don't know if you guys thought ULM might take one, but Marv, you said it earlier in the year. Georgia Southern, a team not to be played with because they had some real talent there. So do you think that is a team that's getting hot at the right time?
They could be. I mean, they've been playing pretty good baseball. I think did they sweep Georgia State or did Georgia State sweep them a couple weeks ago?
I think I'll double check. I'm pretty sure Georgia State swept them.
Yeah, they've been hot ever since then. Either that was the beginning of them getting hot, or that kind of kicked them into gear. But
they've been pretty above average all year.
So their out of conference record was terrible.
Right.
They played a lot of teams, but Like I said, I remember one of the first couple weekends watching them, and I was like, man, they got some dudes on that team. So they're third in the conference right now, fourth maybe?
They are technically third, tied with Southern Miss overall, but they have the tiebreaker because they beat Southern Miss head-to-head. And yes, to confirm for 100%, they did sweep Georgia State, as Seth said. So
they swept Georgia State.
Yes.
And I think that kick-started them, and they've just kind of been rolling since then. But no, it doesn't surprise me. Once again, it wouldn't have surprised me if ULM would have got a game off of them. But they're playing good baseball right now.
Yeah, I would actually say it's funny that you said that. They actually went on a little losing streak after they swept Georgia State.
Perfect.
They lost to Georgia Tech, lost a series to Coastal 2-1. They lost to James Madison in a sweep. But then the winning started. So starting with Mercer, then they rolled through Marshall, they rolled through ULM. They just beat Jacksonville tonight, as we know now. And here's the thing. Let's see if they're next or ULM. All right, so ULM's next. But just to mention it, they get to go on the road. Is it on the road? No, they're going to host Louisiana. We'll get to that matchup, so we'll talk about it more. But that's not going to be an easy one. This one may be a little bit easier because I think both teams are going to look at this matchup and think they've got a shot, with ULM going to Mobile, Alabama to play South Alabama. As we know, South Alabama losing the series to App State, also losing the other night to Alabama State, which isn't going to make them very happy. What do you think in this one? Is this now more of an even series than maybe about a week or two ago?
A pretty even kill, in my opinion.
Yeah, coin toss. I mean,
bottom of the tier teams.
Yeah, ULM coming off of being swept. I mean, if I had to put money on it, say 2-1 South Alabama, but you could probably convince me to go 2-1 the other way.
No sweep,
Yeah.
2-1 either way. Yeah.
If anyone sweeps, I'll be surprised, but 2-1 either way doesn't surprise me at all. I'll just give the nudge to South Alabama when they're at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tend to agree with you guys both on that. No surprises here, except for a sweep either direction. So a 2-1 result either way seems par for the course. All right, ODU is going to play App State this weekend. We know that. Texas State is who they had last week, and Texas State got the first two victories. So they look like they were heading in the right direction before dropping that final game 7-4 there on Sunday. But again, is Texas State turning it on at the right time to jump into the conference tournament? I believe at this point you can assume and put a stamp that they stand no chance at the NCAA tournament unless they were to win the conference tournament. But I don't know. Thoughts on them jumping up and getting into those top 10 teams, as it may.
Well, they've got Troy, and the team that's right above them that's kicking them out has a lesser opponent. So I think it's pretty obvious that they need to win this series.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And do you think – yeah, that's what I was just going to say to Seth. You think you being there in San Marcos bolds enough on their side to come out with a series victory, or you still think that's probably not going to happen?
I think I could see a series victory, at least 2-1, just like the last slide. No sweep, but definitely I could see at least one game out of the three for Texas State.
Artie seems to say that just making the tournament would be a victory this year. So, yeah.
I would actually – I'm leaning towards Troy sweeping. I hate to say it. Sorry, Artie. I just think Troy's playing really good baseball right now.
Yeah. If it was at Troy, I would totally agree with you, because with that crowd that they just had there the other night, they're going to keep that rolling into the weekend. Try and keep that ranking, because at this point they're right there at the bottom of the top 25. It's weird to say bottom like they're bad, but they're 21st. So even one loss puts them possibly on the outside looking in again. So they need the victories just to stay up there. And honestly, if you get a sweep, I could assure you that they'll stay. If they don't have a sweep, even if they win 2-1 with that midweek loss too, did they just drop out of that top 25? Because there's going to be a lot of teams that are turning it on here at the end. So be interesting to see that series for a couple aspects. But Artie is saying it'll all depend on the bats. Yep. And it ain't going to be easy with those Troy pitching that we talked about when they were on the show specifically. And then Lions, as Banks had mentioned tonight, as literally their top pitcher as of right now. Then we see what Troy just did this past weekend and why that's going to be a tough matchup. They went into number 18 at the time. Again, this is not Louisiana's current ranking, but at the time of last weekend's matchup, they were number 18 in the country. Troy went in there and won 2 of 3, and heck, they almost got all 3.
Slugfest.
Yeah, definitely a slugfest. 14-13 in that 10-inning finale on Sunday there. But Troy run rules them in the first game on Friday night and then wins comfortably again there on Saturday, 8-4. Yeah, rolling at the right time. I mean, the Cajuns are starting to face what everyone knew would be kind of the meat of their conference slate, as they got a little bit of a weak start where they had that long winning streak. But I guess, was it surprising? I mean, you guys think that Troy wasn't as hot going in, or what really thoughts do you have coming in to this one or coming out of it, I guess, at this point?
I thought it was the 2 best teams in the conference playing one another. The Cajuns had just gone on that 14-game run. I think they won 14 in a row. Maybe the series before that. I don't know. I think Troy's hot. I still think Louisiana is a heck of a ball club. But yeah, once again, this is another one of those. I know we sound like a broken record. 2-1 either way does not surprise you. A sweep does. Now, if Troy would have got the sweep, I would have been very surprised. And if Louisiana would have got the sweep, I would have been very surprised. But I just think they're the 2 best teams in the conference right now.
Yeah. Troy's my ruse, what Artie is saying. Yeah. All right. Well, they, and when I say they, I'm talking about the Cajuns in this one. They drop after that 2-1 series loss from 18 to 22. So not too bad. Still a lot of respect being paid to, one, how good Troy is, because they earned the ranking after that victory, but not dropping the Cajuns down too far either. But again, they are headed to Statesboro, Georgia for, you talked about they just played this. Cajuns certainly first, Troy second. They're now going to play the 3rd best team in the conference, so it doesn't get any easier. Anybody going to be surprised if Southern walks away with a series victory here against the Cajuns?
Not surprised at all.
No, I mean they're coming off a sweep. They're hot right now. I don't know. This is one I don't want to call. This obviously needs to be one of the series that we have the kids pick. I can tell you my kids are going to pick Louisiana just because I hate Georgia Southern. But
You just got to say Raging Cajuns, and everybody's picking that name.
Yeah, true. I actually know. I say Georgia Southern, and my kids are like, no Georgia Southern. But
Yeah.
I will try to watch as much of this series as possible.
Yeah, it should be a good one. I expect the atmosphere alone to be one reason to tune in. Yeah, tripping all over the words there. But yeah, I mean, I'll be checking into this one for sure because I do believe that Statesboro crowd is going to really want a victory, series victory, of course, but even just a game victory over Louisiana to get them going in the right direction as they get closer here. Randy is saying, don't pitch to the Cajun shortstop and you can beat the Cajuns. My guess is that name of that guy is Kyle DeBarge because him and Banks Tolley, I think DeBarge is right behind Tolley. I say right behind. I think Tolley has 21 home runs on the year. Is that his total? I think DeBarge has like 17. So it's not right behind him, but he is second place in the conference behind him. So, yeah, don't pitch to those 2 gentlemen, and you're probably going to make out better. All right. Arkansas State and James Madison matched up, and surprisingly to me, and it wasn't the fact that Arkansas State got one. It was how they got it, winning Saturday 8-1 in that one to even the series up at 1 apiece after JMU took that Friday matchup 9-4. But then JMU woke up and wins that last game on Sunday there 9-2 to ultimately take the series. I guess the only surprise to me is that James Madison didn't sweep. I think that's what I would have called going into this one.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're a little surprised at Arkansas State at the beginning of the year, and just like we've talked about with a couple other teams falling off hard times. JMU still held middle of the pack so far, and I think you're right. Not totally surprising, but kind of what we expected here.
Yeah. I don't think Arkansas State has fallen to reality. I think they probably just are who they are. Like you said, the early start maybe gave some hope, but Sun Belt's hard, man. You get in here and they are who we thought they were.
To quote the famous Dennis Green podium, I don't know, it wasn't a tantrum, but Anyway, Arkansas State then host Southern Miss, so it doesn't get any easier for the Red Wolves there. I don't think I see the Red Wolves taking even one in this series. What about you guys?
Clean sweep.
Yeah, if the shocker would be Arkansas State winning the series anyway. Southern Miss is a better baseball team. They're still battling for third place. They win this. Georgia Southern's got a hard series coming up. They could be in third place. I think they're fourth right now. So, and Arkansas State's eliminated. So big series for Southern Miss. Go get your wins while you can.
Yeah, pad the stat line as it jumped into the old thing there. But let's see. Let's put us all up here. There we go. So that rounds it out, man. I really enjoyed the start of that episode with those guys coming on. And
Banks is a cool dude.
Yeah.
Austin.
Austin's has advertised our most guest appearances on the podcast for a reason. Dude's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Always appreciate that. I guess, Seth, just camp out, hang out at the local Chili's, and just keep finding
starting next year, I'll just hang out at I know where the hotel is, so I'll just kind of camp out on the weekends, seeing who's hot at the time, and see if we can't get somebody on.
Yeah.
Well, now
just go find someone who works at the hotel, and we'll have like Sunbelt Syndicate business cards made up. It's like, hey, if you want to be on a podcast, scan this QR code, your information goes straight to Seth. And
well, hey, usually whoever I find is sometimes you can just find somebody that's like a bullpen catcher. But everybody I've found so far has been pretty relevant, so it's all worked out.
No, it's worked out great.
Here's the bad news, guys. Since we are the largest Sunbelt baseball podcast, now that we've gotten this out there, they're going to find out that Seth knows the location of the team hotel for the visiting team, and they're not going to stay there anymore.
Hey, here's the real deal, though. Since we are the Sunbelt's #1 downloaded baseball podcast, we actually have people coming to us now.
Yeah.
We do.
Stay tuned for a little surprise next week, everybody.
Yep. Very, very much so. Randy's saying, USM graduate here. First time to find this podcast. Enjoyed it. Man, Randy, we enjoyed you coming on and interacting with us. We always appreciate the people that want to just have fun. I mean, they call it Fun Belt for a reason, right? So, yeah, this is why we started this podcast. I'm super glad, and I've said it before, I say it again, that Marv and Seth, really – they kind of came up with the idea. I'd done it by myself last year, had fun with it, mentioned it to them, and they're like, hey, you ever want to have somebody on? And I said, why don't you guys come on full time? And it's really worked out well across the board. So
we enjoy it.
Fun, man. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah. So that will wrap it up for tonight's show. Artie,
2 weeks.
2 weeks, Artie. 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He will be the man. That'll be perfect timing. So Artie will be the going into the tournament guest.
Yep. That's going to work out well.
You guys ever watch Joe Dirt?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like the janitor that is he's hiding his identity.
Yeah. Who was that? Oh God, what's that?
This might be one of those things where Artie doesn't want anybody knowing who he actually is.
He blurs his face out and has like a voice.
That would be the best thing ever. If he could have a setup where he does that.
Brings him down.
Oh, man, if he could wear a panda head during the episode, that would be even better.
I really want to show up to an app game in like a full panda suit, though. I think that would be hilarious.
That would be pretty funny.
It would also be really hot by the time you would do that, so not sure that's going to happen. But
unfortunately, I don't think either of our previous guests will be on that roster next year. Obviously, Tolley graduates, but the way those guys are hitting, I think both of them get a look.
Think so? Hope so.
Yeah, I do. I mean,
obviously one, but the second one too.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not a baseball scout by any stretch, but if you're the number 4 and number 6 hitter in the third or fourth best league in the country, and I think the Major League Baseball draft has like 30 rounds.
There's not anymore. It's short.
Yeah, they did shorten. Yeah.
Okay.
Short.
That could have a little bit to do with it too, though.
It could, but I mean, hitting 391 and 384, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think too, it's pretty easy to see that those guys have personality and they're team guys, that's going to bode well too,
Yeah.
You got a guy who can smash the ball, but it's not like top upper echelon, and you got question marks about his, team camaraderie. I don't think you have question marks with either of those two guys right there. So
it's 20 rounds now.
Okay.
20.
32 teams picking, so you got 600 picks.
33 teams picking when Raleigh gets one, right, Marv?
I don't think. Are they going to do an expansion? Are they going to move Tampa?
No.
Or the Marlins. I know that one of them was in jeopardy.
Marlin. No, not for a little while.
Dude, if Raleigh gets a Major League Baseball team, take my money. First season ticket holder.
Hey,
fantastic. But we're not going to get. It's going to go to Nashville.
Real quick story, real fast. I'm getting off here and going to bed. But so on my little league team, I got a kid from Tampa, and he's always wearing Rays gear. And I was talking to his dad one night at practice. I said, "You guys big Rays fans?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "It's tough, man." He was like, "The owner just doesn't want to spend like zero money at all." And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "No." He goes, "Funny story." He goes, "I was on a flight back to Boone." He said he was flying Allegiant from Tampa to Asheville, and he gets on the plane and notices. He says the Rays owner is sitting on the airplane. Allegiant Airlines, the owner of a Major League Baseball team, is flying. He said nobody knew who he was. He was like, "Hey, man," like, he spoke to him like he was one of his buddies, and nobody had a clue. And he was just flying Allegiant from Asheville or Tampa to Asheville.
That's insanity.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Also terrible. Yes.
Yeah.
But
all right, fellas, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Good way to end the show, Seth. Appreciate it. And until next week, guys. Be on the lookout for the kids' picks. We'll get those out. See you guys later.
See you guys.
Yeah.